Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of KigerCraft. I'm Tig, and there was an invisible spider right there. Today we are going to be exploring the desert that we found last time, and I logged in and this guy came after me. Fully invisible spider. I was a little bit scared because all of a sudden it was like, oh, and I was like, hey, what's going on? But yeah, so something interesting I wanted to share with you guys. So basically I wanted to explore the caves, because one of the things that I noticed when we popped out of the nether here last time was that there is some very, very large cave systems, and the cave generation was different from how I'm used to seeing it. So I kind of wanted to explore that and just have a overall generally relaxing episode. So there are actually a couple things that I wanted to sort of just think about and ramble about openly, and that was well, actually there are a couple things. Oh no. One of them, hey nerds, was the fact that last week, a company that Apple had invested in called GT Advanced Technologies basically went out of business. They were supposedly going to be producing sapphire glass for the next iPhone, or the current iPhone, I guess you could say. And oh, hi Creeper. And it didn't actually pan out at all. The company tried scaling up their production and ended up running out of money, I guess. So it's a little weird that happened, because I think it proves 2 points. Is that general wisdom regarding sapphire glass was correct. So the reason why you don't see anything with sapphire glass is because it's very expensive to produce, which is the problem that I guess that they were having. Also, it's not actually all that great. I mean, it's scratch resistant, yes, but it can also be very fragile at larger sizes, so it's not, wasn't going to really be the kind of material that I think that they wanted it to be. But if I remember correctly, yeah, I mean, it's because bears are careful, but a lot of people get scratches on their regular glass screens regularly. Haha. So, I mean, it is a big concern for a lot of people. Oh, dead end. So, but there were also some other issues, and I find it interesting that Apple somehow thought that they would be different, I think, is what the problem was. They were like, oh, well, normal rules don't apply to us, and it turns out that no, they actually do. But one of the things that I saw when that sort of that rumor first started, oh, there's a temple over there. I think that one might have been already raided. I think G found it last time. Is that, one of the justifications was that the sapphire glass is what they use on the laser scanners at the grocery store. I don't actually know if that's true or not, but a lot of people were like, oh, and those don't scratch and stuff like that. And, well, yeah, that is true. They're also gargantuan. Has this not been raided? Let's find out. Do a little bit of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It hasn't! Oh my gosh, there was another one sitting right here. Awesome. Alright, sorry guys. Get some light. Alright, so we got some gold. Ooh, 3 diamonds. Iron. And diamond horse armor and 2 saddles. Wow, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and pick up the TNT. Never know when we might need it. There we go. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and when I heard that they had actually gone out of business, I was not really surprised, but also surprised at the same time. Because usually when Apple puts their money where their mouth is, they're usually pretty successful. But I guess that this was not the case this time. Alright, and we're out. Well, that was fun. Quick temple excavation. Oh, and a village. Awesome. Let's go check it out. This is kind of what I had in mind for this episode. Just sort of like exploration and stuff while I talk about things. So, yeah, so even though that is something that they were trying to do with those screens, I really don't think it was going to work out for them in the long run anyways, because a lot of tests have shown that it's not as good as they were hoping. So, I don't know. Maybe in the future, maybe they'll pick up... You know what? I don't really need this stuff. Why am I picking it up? Maybe they'll make something better in the future. Not really sure. I don't know. We'll see. But this sort of like dilemma where you have, you know, what materials you're going to be putting into something as fragile as a smartphone is a pretty big concern, and a lot of money and blood, sweat, and tears from engineers and scientists goes into finding better solutions to products, because there is creeper. There is a lot of money to be made. One of the I don't want to say one of the biggest cash cows, but one of the most widely used products from Owens Corning is their Gorilla Glass displays, which are lighter and stronger than traditional tempered glass, and they have it's dangerous. They have several generations of it, so some of them are exclusive to some manufacturers, while others are available to everyone. So it's not exactly universal across the spectrum, but there are certain technological advancements that are being made in lots of different product categories that people are trying to sort of corner the market on. Tougher glass is definitely one thing, but another one where people really haven't been making a ton of commercial success yet, but they've had a lot of scientific success, is in batteries. And sweet. Let me get my torches back. There we go. Batteries are a huge deal. And the reason is because batteries right now can only get so good. They can only hold so much power per gram. It's known as the power density. Scary. And the power density is pretty low for what our modern requirements are, because we need a specific amount of power in order to run our processors and our memory cores and all of that sort of stuff. So harvest them cows. One of the things is that it's hard to make a small, light battery that has good battery life. So one of the things that people are trying to do is they're experimenting with the type of cathode that they use. So basically, quickly explain how a battery works while I light this cave up. Oh, hey, look, a dungeon. Wow, exciting. Invisible spiders. Is it dead? Alright. Cool. Discs. I don't want to raid those. Iron horse armor, more discs. Take the name tag. And I'll leave the rest. Cool. Let's see what I was talking about. Oh, right, batteries. So, basically the way that it works is there's two sort of like terminals, is what they call them. There's an anode and a cathode. And electricity that's stored chemically in the battery will move from one to the other. And what researchers have found is that if they use basically anodes and cathodes with lots of like wrinkly stuff, that you get better power storage out of it. Now this might not be totally correct, but I'm basically just trying to remember off the top of my head some very technical papers that I read. So obviously electrical engineering, or chemical engineering rather, I guess would be more like it, is not really my forte, but I'm gonna try and make it understandable. So basically, if they use like really sort of like wrinkly, think like almost brain-like wrinkles on anodes and cathodes, that they can actually increase the amount of storage that they get per ounce for batteries, which is incredible. That's really, of all the technological advances that we're making, none of them are really beneficial. We have a lot of really good stuff right now. Our processors are good, our memory density is more than we need, so it's kind of like superfluous, where it's not really something we need, but we're doing it because we can. But what we really need is better battery technology, because as stuff gets more powerful and gets faster, it's going to consume more energy, and if we don't have the cells necessary, then we're not going to be able to power those devices. So to see these sort of advances is really, really exciting. But we're still like in the, experimental in, research college sort of phase. So I'm hoping that we sort of get more advancements on that front soon, but it's very, very complicated stuff. So hopefully our smart techie people will be able to provide us with cool stuff soon. But when you really think about it, it's a lot of things use those different sorts of technologies. I mean, if we could make a battery that had 20 times the capacity and half the weight, that would absolutely be revolutionary. It would change everything. Cars could now go farther with the same weight of battery, or could go the same distance with a battery that weighs much, much less. They would be cheaper to produce eventually, and they would give us more benefit per dollar. Oh, it's just so awesome. So, of everything, of all tech things, that's probably what excites me the most. Batteries. I mean, just imagining what we can do with more battery power is just, makes me so excited. Because we're getting good at making our stuff more efficient, aka using less power. But we can only go so far with that, especially if we don't want to sacrifice things like performance. So having more power available is awesome. I mean, I guess it's sort of like trying to run a Mustang on a 2-gallon tank. I mean, no matter how efficient you make that Mustang, if you still want to go a certain speed, it's got to have a certain amount of power. You can try and make that 2-gallon tank stretch a little bit farther, but really, it's not going to go that far. You need a bigger tank. So that is what a lot of people are working on. And I think more than anything, that is probably the holy grail of tech for right now. That is like the one thing that could really open up a gigantic boom in technological advancement. So really, really excited to see that stuff. So let's go ahead and make a couple more torches. And then there was some other stuff. It's more or less... ooh, this thing is getting very full. Let's get rid of this. There. I'm concentrating very hard. And there's some other things like there was a robot that I saw recently, because you guys know how much I love robots. That was actually able to play ping pong. It was like gigantic, but it was so cool. But it was actually kind of bad. It just goes to show how amazing like biological creatures are, like us, that we can, you know, have this amazing amount of hand-eye coordination, and we can do all these really awesome things. But it was actually really cool to watch this giant robot play ping pong, and it had like these. It almost looked like a little bit like a spider, and it had this big giant eye, and it was really cool. Ooh, a ravine. All right, let's work our way down here. So, that was actually pretty cool, because I've never actually seen a sort of robot where you could interact with it on that sort of level before. It seems robotics is sort of stuck in like this rudimentary phase, but getting better all the time, like most stuff. So, one day we might have like the ultimate like robot ping pong tournament. That would be so cool. Just watch a bunch of like robotic ping pong players go at it, and they would all be so good, and then the one that had like the best playing algorithm would win. That would be awesome. Reminds me of those days back in like the yeah, exactly. They need to get like a lot of people involved, like not just like techno engineers and stuff, but like I remember back in the day when people would put together robots, and they would call them like battle bots and stuff, and they would fight each other. If you guys are familiar with the Mythbusters, one of the contestants on that show was actually Grant Imahara, and I remember watching him battle in the arena, and it was so cool. But unfortunately, it's sort of like, I guess it wasn't all that interesting to a general audience, so it kind of went by the wayside eventually, and they stopped airing it on TV. But for the time that it was there, it was really cool. But I feel like everything is sort of like getting to a point where it's gonna advance. We're gonna start making like these really big advancements. Just like a couple things have to fall into place, and then boom, everything is gonna be getting really, really cool. Like when we went from having like no tech in like the 1960s and 70s to having like all of the tech in like the 80s and 90s. I feel like that's gonna happen, you know, absolutely within my lifeline, but maybe like within the next 10-15 years. I feel like I just have a feeling there's gonna be that breakthrough, that one thing that just makes everything awesome. And I don't know where it's gonna come from. It could be batteries, or it could be something completely different. And I think that that's probably what I like about tech the most, is that it could be anything. It could be something that we've never even thought of before, and it could be something completely new. And I think that's what's exciting. New things to learn, always new things to discover. So, alright, let me get this last bit of iron here. Well, forget it. Don't need iron anyways. Whoa. Well, looks like I've hit the end of the ravine. There's probably some more stuff down there, but being that it's very lava-y, I don't want to risk it. But I hope you guys enjoyed my sort of rambly, relaxy episode. I'm gonna go ahead and head back up to the surface. What are you guys most excited about for the future? Like smaller, lighter cell phones, wearables? You know, what is really exciting? Batteries. It's true. And my aunt lives in London, and her husband, my uncle, is very British, and he always says batteries. When we first met him, because they've only been married for a few years, but when we first met him, he was like, oh, I need to go to the store to get some batteries for my camera. And we were like, batteries? And it's been sort of like the running gag in the family for like years. So yeah, it's always fun. But yeah, what excites you guys? What really gets you sort of like excited whenever anything new discoveries are made? You know, let us know in the comments. And I hope you guys liked this video. So if you did, just go ahead and give it a like, and that'll help us out immensely. And we'll see you next time. Take care.